Welcome back to Captain DLC Gaming. Today we are taking a break from work and we are going to jam some standard ranked. So, not sure what deck I really want to be in after the post-ban meta, but I was running up against rogues a lot. So if you can't beat them, join them. So I net decked this deck. I actually got this deck directly from Alias V, another content creator. So go check out her content. I'll put a link in the description. Alias V, good content creator. I just discovered her recently, and so far I've liked what she's got going on her channel. So go check her out. Like and subscribe to her channel if you like what you see there. But we pulled this directly off of her site. And so all the quintessential rogue things are here. I think this is kind of the basic deck that most people are playing with maybe some personal variants, which I haven't added in myself. So Wind Robbers, Enforcers, 4-ofs, of those of course, Lofty Denial because it's better in the Rogue's deck when you're milling your opponent. Heartless Act is key for sure. Drown in the Lock is really the linchpin to this deck. Being able to either counter spells or deal with them after they enter the battlefield is super nice. Soaring Thought Thief, another key component to this deck, of course. Brazen Borrower, Nighthawk Scavenger, and then Agadeem's Awakening is really good in the late game. Bring something back from the graveyard, likely getting 2 things back from the graveyard, hopefully, or just play it as a land if need be. And then Zereth San, the Trickster. I really like this card. This card's a lot of fun to play with. I would say out of all of these cards, that Zereth is the most fun in this deck. And of course, Into the Story, because it gets better when your opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard, reduces the cost by 3, and you're able to refill your hand with more resources. I played this deck a couple of times, and I honestly, the shuffler hates me. I had a little bit of trouble getting black mana, even though we have Agadeem's Awakening here with the ability to play the Undercrypt for a land. So I ended up putting up a couple of Fabled Passages and changing the land count a little bit to try to make sure that I actually get to black mana. Often I'm on turn 3, I want to cast this Nighthawk Scavenger, and I'm unable to do so. So hopefully this land count helps us out in that. But enough about the deck. You've probably seen it before. If not, welcome aboard. Let's jump into some games and see what kind of fun Magic we can play today. So we were playing up at the Platinum rank. I was able to get there relatively quickly based on the fact that I was Platinum before, so I think I started out in Silver. So Mono Green got me up to Platinum, and then over the weekend, and then I just started getting my face smashed in by all of the decks, including this one. So if you can't beat them, join them. That's what we're doing here. So we've got 2 lands to start, a little bit light, but we'll believe in the deck that the shuffler is going to be kind to us today. So we will keep this. More often than not, our first play is the Wind Robber. And we're going up against Golgari. Alright, this is exciting. So one of the things I want to do while I'm playing Magic in the ranked queue is see what the meta is doing, see what other people are playing. So we will get in with the Wind Robber here, mill a card, and a little Death Touch guy. I do have an affinity for those low-cost Death Touch creatures. They can definitely hold up the battlefield on the ground. My goodness. Wow. Okay, so either our opponent just really doesn't want to play against rogues again, or they didn't like their hand. I mean, we'll take the victory up in the ranked queue. But let's quickly jump into another game here. Claim those prizes, jump back in, and see if we get a better matchup and some longevity of gameplay. I do tend to come to the bandwagon a little bit late when it comes to newer decks or whatnot. Obviously, the meta is in flux right now post-rotation. People are experimenting with cards, but there are a few decks that are already kind of noted as premier decks, and I think this Rogues deck is one of them based on how many times I went up against them just in the short time that I played the Mono Green deck, and they picked me apart quite easily. So we don't have our quintessential 1-drop play here. This is a little bit of a slower hand. But I think we keep it and see what happens. Going against black-red, so I bet you we see Kroxa here. If we are playing the Kroxa deck, it's an uphill battle for us for sure. So Deceit or Triome here. Let's go ahead and just play the Triome. Overthinking our first land play. We get Xerath in the deck here. So I think we play Temple of Deceit and just get our tap lands out of the way. Lofty Denial. I mean, I do like that card, but let's see, next turn we're probably playing Nighthawk. Yeah, we'll keep it as potential protection. Obviously, it's not as good without cards in the opponent's graveyard, which they'll help us out with here with the Mire Triton, mill 2, Death Touch, 2/1, and they gain 2 life. So I accept that. Doesn't really matter what we play here for land, I don't think. Let's go ahead and Nighthawk Scavenger. See if they have the removal to deal with it already, which is likely. Heartless Act. Of course. If they're in black, they would have that card. So Nighthawk Scavenger not doing much for us there, except for getting a piece of removal out of our opponent's hand. And we don't have anything we want to do in main phase, so we're going to pass the turn. So welcome, friends! If you know me and you're a casual player, welcome. I will try to explain some of the gameplay as well as some of the cards as I go. If you stumbled upon my channel and you're like wondering why some of the explanations are basic, I am a very casual player, by no means obviously not a premier content creator. So stick around if you want. Hope you can learn something and enjoy the games. If not, go check out your more premium content creators. I mentioned earlier Alias B. I will put a link in the comment section for her site. Go check that out. But if you want to stick with us, welcome aboard. So we're taking 2 from the Mire Triton here. And I don't really want to bounce the Mire Triton with the Brazen Borrower, so we're going to hold that up. And I think we just play the Thieves Guild Enforcer here. Get something on the battlefield for us. Which means we have no attacks in against the Mire Triton. Opponent thinking really hard about what's going on here. They want to play removal. Alright, so they have... Well, if the opponent has enough in the graveyard, we can actually drown in the lock here. And that's just what we're going to do. That puts the Bone Crusher to the bin. Mills some more cards. Which we got another Bone Crusher in there. Alright. I'll take that action. Fabled Passage for us. So far, the mana's been kind to us. Let's get blue. And we have turned on the Thieves Guide Enforcer, but it's likely a trade with the Mire Triton. So we could refill our hand here. On the opponent's turn, we can attack in and bounce the Mire Triton, which just means they're probably going to play it again next turn, which is actually to our advantage because it mills 2 cards. Let's be greedy. Let's get nice and greedy. So what does the opponent have in there? So if we pay 2, okay, so we can't bounce and play Xerath. So we'd hold up Lofty Denial. Yeah, I'm feeling greedy. Bounce the Mire Triton. That's probably a hasty play. We're going to do it anyways. Get in for 3. Hold up Lofty Denial, and then at end of turn, Brazen Borrower if our opponent doesn't do anything that requires a Lofty Denial. Alright, another Bone Crusher. So actually doesn't do us any good. We don't have a flyer, so they can pay the 1. So we're going to let that resolve. Honestly, we probably should have flashed in Brazen Borrower there to get the trigger off of Field Guide Enforcer. So note that for the future. We will Lofty Denial the Mire Triton, which might be counterintuitive because we originally wanted them to go ahead and mill some cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So we can either borrow or into the story on the next turn. Let's see what our opponent does. We're giving them a free turn here. 2 damage coming in. Bone Crusher Giant comes in as well. We will let that resolve. 2 damage coming across. And I think I'd rather draw cards here. Let's refill our hand a little bit. Now we're talking. Now we've got some action. Soaring Thought Thief. Yes, please. So what's really fun about Xerath is you can steal your opponent's stuff. So you flash him in, replace him with a unblocked rogue that's attacking, and if he does combat damage to a player, you get to put a target permanent card from that player's graveyard into the battlefield under your control. So anything we want as far as a permanent goes. We could get a Bone Crusher Giant or a Murderous Rider. I kind of like that play. Otherwise, Nighthawk Scavenger. Yeah, let's just have some fun here. So, Thought Thief goes in. We will flash in Xerath. We don't have the mana for it? Oh. We gotta go to blockers first. Okay, now we can do it. So, we'll replace the Soaring Thought Thief with the Xerath. He will do combat damage for 4. Well, let's go get something. I think we take the Bone Crusher Giant. Put him into play as a nice little blocker. And then we are going to pass the turn, holding up the Drown in the Lock in case we need it. Otherwise, we'll flash in the Soaring Thought Thief. And they play Kroxa. So we will have to discard here. I don't really want to use my Drown in the Lock or my Lofty Denial just to avoid discarding. I think since we have Agadeem's Awakening in, that's our discard. Mire Triton. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Most of our actions in the air, they can mill themselves. Oh, and they put Liliana into the graveyard. Nice! No attacks, we flash in the Soaring Thought Thief. We can't get Xerath through. Mire Triton will take him out. So I think what we want to do here is Nighthawk for 3. Yeah, let's Soaring Thought Thief. Beef up our stats. We're only going to go in with the Thought Thief because everything just trades with the Mire Triton. We'll get 2 triggers off of the Thought Thief, mill some cards. We'll let the damage resolve. And now it's either Nighthawk Scavenger or hold up Drown in the Loch and then play Brazen Borrower. I think I like that play better. Let's play a little smart here. Play a little slow. Keep our counter magic up. Crocs is going to escape here. And we are going to deny that. Which took away our ability to flash in the Brazen Borrower, but that's fine. Another Drown in the Loch. The problem is if we get rid of the Bone Crusher Giant, our attacks on the ground are still pretty bad. So let's get in with our flyers. 6 damage. Slow and steady wins the race here. Opponent down to 10, and we will pass the turn. So there's an argument that we should have cast the Nighthawk on our turn. I mean, it is nice to get the lifelink damage through the air. That might have been the better choice. But I'm going for Drown in the Loch and Brazen Borrower here. See if the opponent has removal for one of those. They're looking at their graveyard once again. Which is what makes this matchup a little bit interesting with Kroxa, because they're able to chew through their graveyard and potentially get us to a point where we don't get the benefits of having 8 or more cards in the graveyard. So Kroxa tries to come out again, and we will stop that yet once again. Land for the opponent. No attacks. We'll flash in the Borrower. Looking at 9 damage. Oh, I forgot. We get the pump from Soaring Thought Thief. And now we've got lethal in the air. The opponent reads the writing on the wall, scoops it up. That is a win for us. Right on. I will take that. Alright, let's get into the game in here. We'll go for 3 games today. Claim some prizes. Pouncing Shore Shark. Sure. Let's see what we get matched up with this time. Nanny Cakes. Interesting name choice. I like it. It's creative. Oh boy. Alright, so low on land count, but we've got a decent curve here, so we'll keep this. And we will play this as black. Sigo. I really do like the double-faced lands. They are awesome. I need to invest in acquiring more. Alright, going up against green with Bell on the battlefield from not Beanstalk Giant, the Lovestruck Beast. I don't really want to trade with Bell, or do I? Alright, so we're going to main phase Soaring Thought Thief. We're going to get the trigger off of the Thieves Guild, Enforcer, and we're going to attack it off the trade. And we'll get the trigger off of Soaring Thought Thief, and they will take that trade, which means unless they have another one or another way to create 1/1s, the Beanstalk Giant's in trouble. Or I'm sorry, the Lovestruck Beast. I'm so stuck on Beanstalk Giants because I see that more often than not. Lotus Cobra comes out for our opponent. Let's see. Go in for the attack for 1, mill some cards. We Heartless Axe the Cobra and try to keep them from ramping up. Missing a land drop there is not great. Let's go for it. So we should have went ahead and done Heartless Act early. It would have turned on Soaring Thought Thief earlier. Scavenging Ooze comes in. Munching up the creatures. Plenty of creatures for the Ooze to eat on next turn. So let's see here. Going for the swing. Mill 2 cards. Get damage in. We can bounce or destroy the Scavenging Ooze. Just to keep the opponent's graveyard full. And that's going to get out of control and need to be dealt with at some point. The other thing is we can wait, take some damage from it, and bounce it later with Brazen Borrower. I think here, let's go ahead and kill it. Oh, wait, we can't kill it because it has counters on it. Okay. Just kidding. Forgot about that. Questing Beast comes down. Lofty Denial says no to that. Take 3 from the opponent and Scavenging Ooze. And we swing in once again. Mill some more cards. Pass the turn back. Love Struck Beast we don't care about because there is no 1/1 in play yet. The opponent might have another one in hand. Sure. Opponent goes digging for another land. Let's see if they have a 2-drop. Yep, or they're just going to eat stuff with the Ooze. Which we're okay with at this point. Leaving 1 mana up, interesting. And let's go ahead and bounce the Ooze back to their hand. Oh, nothing but lands. We'll go for the swing. Mill 2 more cards. Get 2 more damage in. Pass the turn. Alright, so they're playing the Turn Timber Symbiosis. That is a card I am interested in potentially playing with. I haven't had a chance to. Fabled Passage comes in for the opponent. Go get some more land. So they can recast the Ooze here and eat up a bunch of stuff in their graveyard. Or do they have a bigger play in mind? Showing 6 lands on the battlefield for the opponent. Ooh, Shatter Skull Smashing. X damage divided as you choose among 2 target creatures, 6 or more. So they're trying to do 3 damage. I really do like my Soaring Thought Thief, so I'm going to deny that. And unfortunately that took my 1 blue. We can't even cast our Borrower without another blue, which is unfortunate. Interesting. We don't have any creatures. We're going to hold on to Awakening just because we got nothing else going on. And the tides have turned in this deck, so I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I had upped the black land count for the swamps because I was struggling to get 2 swamps on turn 3 and the Nighthawk would just sit in my hand. And this time we're struggling to get blue, which is a bit annoying. Another ooze comes into play. Alright. Yep, so we'll take our opportunity to get rid of the ooze before it gets counters on it. Waiting for their commitment to exiling a creature. They can do it one more time with the other ooze if they want. Oh no, it's green only. Okay, cool beans. End of the Story comes into play, and again, we are locked out by lack of blue mana, which is really unfortunate. So this whole game is being carried by our one and only Soaring Thought Thief. That is a bit tilting. Opponent able to come in for 5 damage this turn. Each time they exile a creature out of their graveyard, it costs them 1 green, 3 green up. I'm sure they've got more than 3 creatures hiding in here, and they do. No creatures in my graveyard, opponent looking at the graveyard, and they will do just that. And they also gain a life every time that they do that. Wow, and the Embercleave comes out. We'll give a nice to the opponent, that's a good play. Embercleave, pretty epic card. And we are still off of our blue resource, holding on barely. We will go attacking because we're bold that way. Another Embercleave and a Questing Beast goes to the bin. Opponent goes attacking, looking at 8 damage here. But they will make it more by eating creatures. We'll flash in the Enforcer. And we'll do the math here in a second. 2 toughness. Ooh. And that's going to be game if the opponent realizes all they have to do is munch 1 creature. Yep, we get the good game from the opponent. We'll let them finish this out. Go for it, opponent. Embercleave getting it done for the opponent. On the Scavenging Ooze. Well played by the opponent in that game. Back down to 2 wins in Platinum Tier 4. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to call that a wrap on those games and get back to work here. Feel free to join us in the future. I'll try to put a few more videos out just for fun. Casual play, standard ranked is basically what I will be doing throughout the week. Thank you for being here with us. We'll see you next time in the arena. Catch you on the flip side.